Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little different, different from my typical clothing or a little fitness. Today I'm going to talk about my experience with trying to get into the partner program, and I hope that this video can, encourage somebody, if possible. I'm really hoping, that you guys will, if you are a small content creator, that, if you do relate, that it will be more like an encouragement. So to jump right into the video, about a year ago, I applied to the partner program, and I literally had maybe like one follower, my sister, and I worked really, really hard. I'd say within maybe 4 months, I went up to maybe 200, 300 followers. And you know how they have the criteria with you have to get a certain amount of followers, but then the next obstacle is the watch hours. So I was doing pretty good with the I'd say with the gains in the following. I was pretty, content. And obviously with the watch hours, to me, which is really, really, really the hardest thing to get, that one was more of a challenge. But one of my videos was able to get to, I'd say maybe 10K, and it was a simple video of me cleaning. Sometimes it's the most random video that you don't think about that literally just blows up. So anyhow, that did well and was able to give me quite a bit of watch hours, because not only did people view the video, but they viewed it to its entirety based on the analytics that I looked at. And so that really gained me a good amount of watch hours, but I still wasn't where I needed to be to get into the partner program, because remember now, the other criteria is getting the number of followers. So I was trending up, and I'd say maybe I got to, they switched the requirement, by the way. Before it was 1,000, and then they switched it to, I'd say maybe 500. So I got up to maybe like 450, I remember, and I was like excited. I'm like, okay, so I'm 450, I'm almost there with that criteria to check off the box. And I was just so excited, so happy. And then I think I got to maybe 498, like that close. And out of nowhere, and my video, people continue to watch the video, so I was just working on the video watch hours at the time. And out of nowhere, I kid you not, like I was doing pretty good on the shorts, and maybe out of nowhere, one day I just got 0, and I was like, okay, so maybe my timing, so I reposted 0. This happened for 3 days in a straight, and I was like, okay, maybe I just need to give it a break, which I did. And so after a week, 2 weeks of me posting consistently, and I continued to get I continued to get 0, to be honest. I thought, okay, something is obviously wrong. I'm going to reach out to YouTube and see what's going on, because this is 2 weeks, going on 3 weeks that I've just been getting 0 views. I even Googled it up, researched it to see, hey, has this ever happened to anybody? And if you're a small content creator, and if this has happened to you, then trust me, I feel the frustration. I've been there, so I know exactly what it's like. And there was nothing I could do. So I reached out, to the tech support, and I just kind of asked, and I just basically, explained to them what was going on. They said they were going to look into it. Anyhow, long story short, there's nothing that they did. They looked into everything and said, oh, everything looks fine on our end, maybe just trying to, they gave you kind of like the generic advice that you would get from Google, maybe just try your posting time, maybe try your, your title headings, or, try to do things that are trending. And I'm thinking, yeah, nah, I don't know, because I've tried just about everything. So it happened for another week, I'd say maybe like 3 weeks. And then after that, out of nowhere, I posted a short and got maybe like 20 views, but still the views were just nothing. What I found just strikingly upsetting and what frustrated me is that I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they have the criteria where after a year you lose your entire watch hours. And yeah, you might have the followers, but you still have to get the watch hours. But at the same time, I'm thinking, I just want to get one criteria checked. Even if I could just get my followers, I just need my videos to be seen. It's not that the content is crappy or anything like that, at least, what I thought. Because I was getting really good feedback and everything. But again, if your videos are not being seen, then you really don't have a chance, right? So reached out again, kind of got the same thing. and then out of nowhere I got blocked. I just got blocked, and I'm wondering what. Then I got an email saying something like it could be fraud, and so I needed to send a photo ID picture, or like, you know, take a picture with my camera just to make sure. And at that point I'm just thinking, you know, does YouTube probably has a range, like a rank. In my mind, you know, you just start thinking different things. I'm like, okay, it's not for me. There's just no possible way. YouTube probably has it set up where, you know, a certain amount of people, they just can randomly choose. At the end of the day, it's in their discretion. You're either favorable or you're not, and it just so happened that, hey, it's not gonna, you know, I'm probably not gonna make it into the partner program given the time frame of when that guideline for like the year runs out. So I did exactly what was required, and they realized, okay, fine, it's not fraud, it's me, and they allowed me access. But it took me trying maybe like 2-3 times for them to allow me access. That was another thing. So they allowed me access, and then after that my video finally, you know, kind of picked up a little, but it never went back to what I had. Like I was getting maybe like 2,000 views, so it never went back to what it was. I was getting maybe like 2,000, you know, at times. One of my shorts actually got like 10,000. Nothing over the top, but enough, because enough for me to gain some followers, you know what I mean? Because I was posting consistently. I followed everything that they would recommend, you know. I researched, read, watched a lot of videos, and also more than that, I was really passionate. I'm very passionate about, you know, my fitness and about obviously fashion and all that stuff. So anyhow, long story short, not to make this video too long, it didn't work out. It just didn't work out. I would say my watch hours just went down with everything, and that year came and I never made it into the partner program. I was so close, you know, to me, I was so close, but it just didn't work out. And I wanted to make this video, even though I was so close, I didn't make it. I wanted to make this video to encourage anybody out there that has experienced this, or if you're going through this, I hope it doesn't happen to you where you have to start over from scratch, because that's exactly what I did. I had to start over from scratch. And so I guess I didn't have to delete my account. I just deleted the entire thing and I took a break. And, you know, I'm not a quitter. And so I just decided, okay, so it didn't work. I didn't make it into the program. I'm gonna just start over. But I needed a break because of the frustration, you know, and because I thought, oh my gosh, I was so close and I worked so hard. But if you're going through anything like this, and if you feel like you want to give up, don't give up. Keep on going. And also don't think that you are exempt. Other people, I'm sure other people have been through this. Probably some of the bigger influencers has probably experienced this. I know there's a lot of videos about how I blew up this or how I gained this, you know, amount of followers in this time, but it doesn't happen for everybody. Everybody's journey is different, and that's okay. And you might have to work a little harder like myself, but that's okay too, because I'm sure if you look back in your life, you realize that some of the things that you attained, and if you look back, you know, from where you're coming from, you're like, man, I had to work really hard for that, or man, I can't believe I still stuck through that because of the, you know, little hurdles that you had to go through. Little or big, you had to go through some hurdles. Some of us had to start right over from scratch, and so it's okay if you have to start over from scratch. Does it suck? Absolutely. When you lose all your watch hours, yes, but hey, you just go back again to the drawing board. If you really, really want it, then you go back again. And if you're really, really passionate, for some of you guys, you might be doing it like for me. I barely get much watch hours, and that's okay. It doesn't stop me from posting because I like what I'm doing. I like what you know, when I have to do anything like a clothing haul or anything, it's truthful, it's honest, it's my truth. And it might help one person, you know, and so that I'm fine with that. Keep on going. The next thing is, I would not recommend quitting your full-time job. I just wanted to preface that because I've seen so many videos on, oh, I quit my full-time job, now this, or I quit my full-time job. Don't get me wrong. If you have a backup plan, or if you're at a job and you're stuck in the 9-to-5 in your job, you feel if the environment is not conducive to your mental health, then absolutely. However, if you're in a job where you're making your money, and yeah, you might have some struggle, no job is perfect, really. Everybody's just trying to make it, especially in today's society. It's not easy, okay? But I would not recommend you leaving your full-time job because you watched a video or you watched a couple videos and the person who you're watching told you, oh, I quit my full-time job and I am now working, you know, this amount of hours, or YouTube paid me this. It's really not that easy. Maybe they were lucky enough to get it, but it doesn't mean that the same outcome is going to be for you. So I highly encourage and implore you to stick with your job. Maybe get a backup plan, you know. It's okay to have a backup plan before you do leave, even if you have to get something part-time or PRN or as needed. But I definitely would not encourage it. I'm sure whoever is governing the whole YouTube thing, they're not telling you to quit your job either. This should really just be like because you enjoy doing it, or maybe for supplemental income, and if something becomes of it, then wonderful. And if you're really, really passionate and you really want this to be something full-time, not a problem. But again, you really want to make sure that you're smart in doing that, because imagine if I had just said, oh, I watched a couple videos and yeah, I want to be a content creator, making this amount of money, and I'm gonna just, you know, quit my full-time job, or I'm gonna go part-time. Then something like this happens when you're so close to reaching your goal, and that could really mess a person up. When I say mess a person up, I mean mentally. It could just put you in a state where you're just so down, you know. So just be smart about it, be wise about it, continue to post. That's what I'm doing. Continue to post and continue to be encouraged, and continue to know that you're not the only one. There's other people, other influencers that are going through the same thing. You know, don't compare yourself to where you see the bigger ones are, you know. Don't compare yourself. That's the other thing, because in doing that, you're already setting yourself up for failure. Everybody's success, it's not linear. Everybody gets to their goals in a different way. It doesn't have to be the same way. You know, opportunities come, opportunities go. Same thing for YouTube or any of these platforms, you know. Sometimes, yes, they'll tell you, oh, it's the algorithm or the algorithm. You know yourself that there are some people that post the most random stuff that even in your mind you're thinking, well, this is ridiculous. However, that random video did well. You know, it's nothing favorable or unfavorable. I just think it just happens, you know, whether it's the time of day and it just so happened, if it works out for you or it didn't. You could literally post a picture of you standing and just smiling and it goes viral, and then your video that you put hours of effort into just get maybe 2 people. I'm exaggerating, but sometimes, yes, only 2 views, and it sits there, you know. So just, I guess the whole thing is, don't, you know, people will get discouraged. We all get discouraged, but keep going on. My advice is what I tell myself: do it for fun. Do it because you're passionate about it. If monetary means is your primary goal, then it might be a problem. There's nothing wrong for you to want to make the money, or want to, you know, I want to be able to make this amount of money. Absolutely, it being a goal, it being a goal is absolutely fine. However, if it's your primary goal and you're not passionate about what you're doing, what's going to happen is you're going to move to every topic and research, what can I do to, you know, that's popular. And so you don't really have a purpose or a focus. So that's why sometimes it's kind of like, just do what you like. You know, you might like cooking or you might like baking, and it's something that you just like. Go in the kitchen, set up your camera and do it, and don't overthink it. Because sometimes I feel like when we overthink things, that's when it's just like, okay, you know, it's just, we get nowhere with it. Because now you're doing something that you don't like because you're following trends. And then on top of it, you're not getting the views. At least if I'm not getting views, at least let me do something that I like, you know what I mean? Rather than do something that I don't like. So don't quit your full-time job unless you have a backup plan, or like I said, unless the environment is ridiculous. I'm not about that, you know. Mental health, is most important, to be honest. Also, last but not least, I said I wasn't gonna make it long, but last but not least, keep on going, even if you don't have an army behind you. If you really like what you're doing, if you really like posting and you want to be a content creator, keep on posting. You might not have an army. A lot of times people get where they're going to get, not because they have an army, but because they're resilient, because they're determined, because you know what you want. Look back in your life again. You know, you might have gotten that degree that you wanted, and when you think about it, you were the one that's got through school. You might have one person behind you, and that one golden person was probably that key motivating factor that got you through. But aside from that, give yourself some credit. If you did it for school, if you did it for a job, if you did it for a promotion, whatever it is, even if you don't have an army, even if you have no one else but yourself and God, believe in yourself and you keep on going. Because guess what? When you do get there, a lot of times the people who weren't even there for you will now come out and show up and as if they were. But at least you know the truth, and you know that you worked hard, because you're not a quitter, and neither am I. We're not quitters, right? So keep on going, and just, yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to, talk about, encourage anybody out there, because I was like, you know what, I need to make a video, because I'm sure there's somebody else that's probably experiencing something similar. Right now, I started over from scratch, and so, I'm about 5-something followers, and I'm so grateful to the people who are following me. I can't even, words can't express, but I'll express it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep on going, and I would highly encourage you to keep on going and keep on believing in yourself. And even when your videos might not be making the watch hours, or even if your shorts aren't getting the viewership that you want, just keep on doing it. Don't overthink it. Be smart and not go ahead and just quit your job if you don't have a backup plan. And yeah, that's basically it. So stay encouraged as usual. Thanks for watching, and God bless.